This is what I spent $2,000 on my very first car. This is just a little Honda Civic. I believe this is a 2001. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it is a Honda Civic, super small. It ain't really much, but it's kind of cute. So nonetheless, I'm really proud of it, regardless of who feels any type of way, because this is the first car I've ever bought myself, and it is my first car, period, point blank. That is such a huge accomplishment for me. I'm not gonna stay in my car for long because one thing about this car, it does not have AC, but considering the fact that it is August, which means that, you know, it's gonna get cold pretty soon, so as long as the heat works, that's all I really about. So I'm not gonna stay in here for long because I'm already sweating, but I just wanted to show, yes, this is my car, I paid for it, this is all me, all me, all me. You know, the thing about this car that makes me really happy is the fact that I was supposed to get a car like years ago, literal years ago, and one of my biggest setbacks was never having a car. One of my biggest setbacks was the fact that I could never afford it. And you know, here I am at 22 with my very first car that I paid for, and I'm very, very happy for how far I've come. This is literally a huge accomplishment for me, and you know, I'm very happy about it. I'm very much for it. So you know, it's not much and it took me a while, but I'm happy, I'm excited, so that's all that matters.
A few moments later.
Like, I'm 2 seconds away from just selling this. I swear to God, I am like seconds away from just being like, you know what? I'll just take the bus. Just leave me alone. I'll take the bus. Just it.
Love yours. No such thing. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing as a life that's better.
Hi, I'm Tassie and welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome home. And if you're a new subscriber, make yourself at home by clicking that subscribe button. So as you can tell from the intro, we have switched locations from the car back to our original location, which is my room. And that's for a few reasons. One of them, I started having technical difficulties in my car. I guess it was because well, my phone wasn't all the way charged. So I will admit that. My phone wasn't all the way charged, so I was working on a limited amount of battery. And also, like, my car was just really hot. It wasn't originally. It was like the moment that I started recording, the sun came out, because it was actually kind of sort of cold that day. But for some reason, when I hopped in my car and started recording, that's when it wanted to get hot. So then it got hot, my phone ended up getting hot, and then we start having like mass technical difficulties. So I have like clips of things. I don't even have like whole video segments of the video that I originally was making. And also, by this point, y'all should know that already, when I get very upset, I tend to get very passionate. So I also was looking at some of those previous videos, or more so those video segments, and I feel like I wasn't effectively getting my point across. So, you know, I just decided to kind of like scrap that video and just start all over. And that's why we're here today. We have a different look, we have a different surroundings, and you know, I'm just over here looking like this. But I will say though, I'm not really all that okay with looking like this either, because y'all, it is so hot. I literally laid my edges like probably 5 times. I kid you not, like probably 5 times. And it just keeps popping up because it is just that hot. And this is just something that I really pulled out of my throwback closet, because I haven't worn this since like what, 2017, 2018, possibly even 2016. This was the swag back then, but now on camera it kind of looked like I'm wearing a potato sack. I kind of look crazy right now, but at the end of the day, none of that matters, because we're here for a juicy story time slash advice slash another story time within a story. It's a lot going on. Again, this is why I make my videos. So if you guys are interested in the drama surrounding my infamous car, please stay tuned. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So first thing I want to do, I want to take it all the way back. I'm talking all the way back to the very beginning. So if you guys watch my prom video, I had mentioned in my prom video how there was a lot of issues with me trying to get a job as a teenager because my parents, for some reason, did not want me to work, even though we were very much poor. But they just swore up and down that they would take care of everything, and then they ended up not taking care of majority of the things that I needed. Like, I'm not even saying that to be shady. It's the truth. Like, that whole situation is just like stupid. But either way it goes, I was young and I was under the impression that my parents would essentially take care of all of my foundation and other things that I wanted and other things that I needed. And one of those things was a car. I knew that we did not come from money, so I knew the likelihood of me getting a car at 16 was going to be slim to none. But the reason why I didn't really obsess over it and I didn't really make it a big deal was because I was told by my dad that he would buy me my first car. And not only that, when my 16th birthday was approaching, he told me that he had already picked out a car and somebody was like working on the car and I was gonna get it like once I turned 16 or something like that. So voila, I turned 16 and I don't have a car. Shocker. You know, like I already knew that wasn't coming. So then at some point, me and my dad have that conversation like, okay, well, where's my car? You told me that you were going to buy me a car. You told me first of all, you told me you had one that was already picked out. So where is this car that you picked out? Can I at least look at it? Now it went from I already have a car for you for your 16th birthday to I'm not going to buy you a car until you get your license. Okay, but then here's the thing with that as well. Mind you, neither one of my parents at the time were driving. Neither one of them had a license. Neither one of them had a car. How am I supposed to get my license and I don't have a car to practice in? Because we don't live in one of those states where you can go to driving school and they already have like a car that you can practice in. You had to have your own car. That's number one. Number two, let's talk about driving school. In the state of Ohio, when you are a teenage driver, it is a requirement that you go to driving school and get like your temp license, and you have to have a certain amount of hours that you have to spend training with a licensed driver, and then you can get your license and drive. But the thing about these classes is that these classes cost money. They cost money, and it was money that I didn't have because, again, I did not have a job. I did not have a job. I did not have a job. I did not have my own money. And again, I was under the impression, because it was told to me, that my parents would take care of all of my financial needs. This was one of those financial needs that did not get taken care of. So then we have this particular family member. They come in, they swear up and down that they know this person and this person can get me a discount on the classes or whatever. But again, even with the discount, it costs money that we do not have. Like, so at the end of the day, I decided right then and there, like, I'm going to focus on getting my license when I turn 18 or a little bit after I turn 18. That way we don't have to pay for that mandatory class and I can just literally go in, get my license and go. So then I go off to college. As y'all know, I went to Central State. Central State is about an hour to an hour and a half away from where I live, which is Cincinnati, Ohio. While I was there, I will say, Xenia, Ohio, Wilberforce, Ohio, that is a very car dependent area. It very much is. There is no bus service out there, and I take that back. I think they do have a bus service, but it's very unreliable because, again, it's like very car dependent. And that particular area, it's not a heavily populated area. It's very like small town, like the smallest of small towns, okay? So ultimately, I spent my first year being there. I kind of got a feel of everything. Thankfully, I had friends that had cars, so, you know, like, I wasn't completely SOL. I got where I needed to go. I did everything that I needed. But I knew when I came home that I was going to work on getting that car because it would have made everything simpler. And again, as we've briefly touched before, I started having issues with my enrollment at Central State. That story time is still in the process of coming. It's just, you know, I'm giving it a little bit of time. I'm giving it a little, you know, leeway, just a little bit, because honestly, I might have to go to court for that. Just FYI, I might have to. But yeah, I started having issues with my enrollment with Central State. And I noticed that one of the biggest issues that I was having was that I couldn't go to and from the campus as much as I wanted to. And that campus, for whatever reason, they were the types of people where sometimes you had to be face to face with these people to get a problem solved, because if you call them on the phone or you email them or whatever, they will literally drag their feet and lollygag. Like, they do not care. Well, let me not even say that, because, allegedly. But yeah, basically, like, it just seemed as if it wasn't really important if you were calling on the phone. And at one point in time, somebody had slipped up and even said it themselves, that like, well, you only live an hour away, can't you just come up here? Sweetheart, if it was that simple, I would have done that. But either way it goes, it's not hard to answer a phone, it's not hard to answer an email. Like, it shouldn't be this difficult, especially since I'm the one that's doing majority of the work, and all you have to do is click a button and send an email to your colleague. Like, it should not be that difficult at all. But again, we're going to get into that story time at a later time. So once I started going through all that, I started to fully recognize, like, yeah, I 100% absolutely positively need a car. From that moment, I started saving up for a car, and my goal was like $1,200. Now, let me be the first person to say that I feel like on a personal level, it definitely was kind of sort of my fault as to why I didn't end up getting a car early on in my adult years. And that is mainly because, like, I would have these moments where I'm saving up, I'm doing everything that I need to do, but something would happen. And I would get really depressed, and I just pretty much would be in a headspace of like, nothing even matters anymore. So all the money that I initially would save up for that car, I ended up spending it. I would spend it on things that I needed, though. I wasn't just out here like doing a shopping spree or whatever. But mind you, I was under the impression that I eventually was going to go back to school. So I didn't really put any effort into my room. I didn't really put any effort into even like, oh, it's the summertime, let me go and get a cute outfit so I can go to the club. Like, I wasn't going on trips. I wasn't doing nothing, because I really had it in the back of my head, like, I'm going to go back to school. So let me just focus on stacking my money, saving up for this car. Let me just focus on that. Once that was out the way, I still had the impression that I'm not going to be in Cincinnati very long. I'm going to go right back to Xenia, Ohio. I'm going to go right back to Wilberforce. Okay, like, I'm not going to be here. So I started spending it on, like, things that were a little bit easier for my life on campus. Again, nothing that I was going to use in present day, nothing that I was going to use like in my room. Literally just things that would make my life a little bit simpler when I go back to school. And that happened probably a total of 3 times, because again, as y'all know, if you've been here long enough, I briefly talk about it. I thought that I was going back to school probably like 3 or 4 separate times, and there was always a blockage, there was always an issue, there was always a situation, and every time I thought I was getting it solved, it ended up not being solved. And then, during these little tit for tats, I guess you could say, I was in like 2 relationships that just did not work out. And that also kind of took a toll on my mental health as well. So again, I had 3 separate moments in my life where I saved up for a car. I ended up, spending that money on other things that I needed. And then there was also a point in time where like me and my mom had allegedly like made a deal with each other. And she said that she was going to give me some of her income tax money so that I could pay for a car. What happened with that? To this day, I still don't know. It is literally years later. I don't know what happened with that. We never had a conversation about that. But long story short, I ended up not getting a car that year too. So then in like, 2000 and what year was that? Was that 2019? I think that was 2019. So the year that I started working at one of the sports stadiums, and then I quit that job and ended up getting a seasonal position at Yankee Candle, because I just wanted that, like, I needed my money. I needed that constant flow. Like, I was way closer to my goal than I was initially. That year, I ended up hitting my goal, and that's when I started going into the market of shopping for like what car I was going to buy or whatever. And I knew that I wanted something to just be used, because again, I had to practice driving. I have 0 experience driving. Like, I had absolutely nothing, okay? Again, neither one of my parents drove, neither one of my parents had a license, and neither one of my parents had a car. So I was literally starting from 0, probably -2, if we're being honest. Like, I had no references, no nothing. So I wasn't even really looking for anything big, anything major, anything flashy. I quite literally just wanted like anything that ran so that I could practice and get comfortable being on the road, parking between cones and all that other stuff. I wasn't really worried about nothing. And to this day, let me tell you, I hate the car buying process. Oh my God, I hate the car buying process. It is so weird to me, especially, well, that was probably my first mistake. I was trying to buy my first car through Facebook Marketplace because I didn't really feel it. Was it? I forget. Either I didn't feel like going to a car lot or like I think I wasn't able to go, something of that nature. I don't know. I am so stupid. I just said we were in the middle of a panoramic. Like, that's the reason why I couldn't go to no car lots and shop for a car, and I was stuck on Facebook Marketplace. I literally just said that, and I forgot that quick. And it only registered when I started editing. It's been a month, okay? It's been a long month for me. But basically, I started shopping around on Facebook Marketplace trying to find a car. And I don't know what it is about some of these people, but they make it seem as if they want to sell the car, but they really don't want to sell the car. So it's just like, girl, what type of dance are we doing right now? Like, are you going to sell it or not? Because I literally have the money. Do you want this car still or what? Like, what are you trying to do? And the way that, like, we would have a conversation, but then it would disappear. And then one time I thought I found my car officially. I was in the process of trying to go get it. Next thing I know, why this person's whole entire page is deleted. Not blocked, okay? Because mind you, I have a personal Facebook page that I don't use, and then I have my business Facebook page, right? So I'm looking for this person's page. No, the page is completely gone. Like, so you was trying to scam people. That's what I'm thinking. Still to this day, I think that's what happened. But yeah, it was so irritating. It was so stressful. I didn't have to go through all that, bro. So then my two younger siblings, as I've said before, me and my sibling that comes after me, we have the same dad. My two younger siblings, they have a different dad. Their dad at some point decided that he wanted to sell his car because he was in the process of getting a new car. The only thing that was wrong with that car was that it didn't have an AC unit, and that was the whole reason why he was going out to get a new car. So I was already in the business of shopping for a new car, so I'm just like, hey, how much do you want for that car? He says that he only wanted $2,000. Now, mind you, I only had $1,200. He said he wanted $2,000. I'm like, okay, cool. My mom ends up actually giving me extra money so that I could pay for that car. I'm like, okay, cool. So we're a shoo-in at this point. Like, we gotta be. I kid you not. This man's mannerisms, I'm gonna get deeper into it later on, obviously. But this man's mannerisms gives off the impression that he never wanted me to even have the car. Honest to God, like, that is all that it gave me, was that he did not want me to have possession of this car for whatever reason. Because then there would come a point in time where we're test driving it, and I'm trying to figure out why we're even test driving it to begin with, because in my brain, you would test drive a car if you weren't, like, you know, trustworthy of the maintenance of the car. You get what I'm saying? Like, test drive it to see, like, does it actually run or is it a lemon? I know that it's not a lemon because it's coming directly off of you. Like, first of all, I've been in the physical car before. So I know it's cool. Like, I know it's good. There's no problems with the car. Why are we test driving the car? So we're test driving. Again, I have zero experience driving. All I hear is all these critiques about what I'm doing wrong. Duh, bitch. Like, I'm confused. What are you confused about? Like, I don't even understand why we're here right now. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't even understand what's happening. But then the whole entire time, he just keeps specifying how, like, oh my God, you can't drive. Wait, you can't drive. You can't drive. So what? Like, that, again, the whole point of me getting a car was so that I could practice driving. I'm taking this car off of your hands because you don't want it anymore. Why are you making it a big deal? And he's making it a big deal because, again, I wholeheartedly believe he didn't want me to have this fucking car. For whatever fucking reason, he just didn't want me to have the car. But either way it goes, I end up buying the car off of him, and that's when, bada bing, bada boom, a bitch got a car. Y'all didn't know that I had a car until probably like 2 weeks after I had bought it. But either way it goes, around that time, that was when I initially bought the car. So, in my brain, and I'm pretty sure it was in everybody else's brain as well, in my brain, I thought the moment that I bought the car, my life was going to change. Everything was going to be different from that point on. Everything was going to be perfectly fine. You know, like I was about to be mobile. I was about to be up out of here, and everything in my life was going to go up.
Thanks. What? I gotcha. You see, because you were all excited, and then boom.
So the question is, what exactly happened? So, first year that I have physical possession of this car, I had already told myself in my mind that I already knew that if I wanted to practice driving, I essentially had to go out there and show myself how to drive. I knew that nobody was really going to be there for me, okay? Because, again, this ain't my first rodeo. Unfortunately, I'm born into the situation that I was in. I have the parents that I have, and it just is what it is. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. So I really already knew, like, I have to take this into consideration. I have to do this for myself. And I kid you not, the week that I decided, like, yeah, I'm about to wake up super early when nobody's on the road and I'm gonna just practice driving around the neighborhood, there ends up being like a full-fledged, am I allowed to say shootout on YouTube? If not, I'm gonna just blur it out. But yeah, basically shots were fired. Shots were fired. And I'm not gonna deny, like, I don't live in, you know, essentially the hood. Like, it ain't the suburbs, but, you know, I live where I live, okay? But I will say that, like, the part of the city that I live in, we really don't have that much activity. We really don't be having, like, too much going on. But I kid you not, that happened the week that I decided that I wanted to drive my car. So once that had happened, obviously the police start patrolling. Like, the block is hot, bitch. The block was hot. So I'm just like, yeah, nah, I'm not, because I already know what's about to happen. I'm going to be driving. I'm probably going to make a mistake. They're going to pull me over, license registration that I do not have. They're going to try to arrest me, take me to jail. Then they're going to try to impound my car. That's too much of a risk, so I'm going to just wait. Not to mention that also, it was said, again, by my sibling's father, that he was going to essentially, like, try to teach me how to drive, and he was going to take the initiative to help me and my mom learn how to drive. He took me a total of like 2 times. That was it. And his recommendation after that was like, just get on the road. I'm just trying to understand, like, what did you think was about to happen? I'm very confused. So ultimately, we did not go driving the way that we were supposed to. So I know it's in the back of everybody else's brain, like, girl, you bought that car in 2020. Wasn't nobody on the road because nobody was going to work. There were no venues open. Like, you know, you pretty much had the road to yourself to where you could have practiced. Yeah, I know. But that is the reason why I ended up not practicing in that car. But let me also tell you how the universe works, okay? Because it's a good thing that I didn't. Because you want to know something else that was a hold up with this car? If you follow me on Instagram, then you already know this story because it was being played out in real time, okay? It was being played out in real time. Tell me why the whole first year that I had this car, why did they give me someone else's license plate? I kid you not. My car was not my car legally for a whole entire year because they gave me someone else's title. They gave me someone else's license plate. And I did not know about this until I went to renew my tags the following year. So thank God I wasn't on the road. Thank God. Because again, if I would have been on the road with no license, no registration, nothing that signifies that this is actually my car. I have someone else's license plate. Someone else's car is registered at my address, and I am currently driving a completely different vehicle. There is a different name that pops up when you run my license plate. The whole situation looked bad. The whole situation looks terrible. So at that point, I'm like, I ain't even that mad no more. You know, like, I ain't even that mad no more. That was a sign from God, okay? That was a sign from God. So I just charged that to the game. Everything got fixed after that. I'm like, okay, cool. Now we should be good to go. But here's the thing about that as well. That year that I ended up renewing my tags, finding out like my license plate was completely different, yada, 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 I ended up working at Sunglass Hut, as y'all know. Now, my plan was that I was going to eventually start driving and I was going to, like, you know, drive myself to and from work. But I started working a lot. because I got addicted to the flow of money. I was making a decent amount of money. So by that point, it was like I was kind of in the routine of not taking my car. And mind you, like, my job really wasn't that far from my house either. So I wasn't even really all that pressed about it. But I still, like, you know, obviously I want my car. I want to be able to drive my car because that's the whole reason why I bought it. You know what I'm saying? But either way it goes, I knew I was in good hands. I knew everything was taken care of because, you know, I can just, on my off days, drive when I need to drive, and we just gonna leave it at that. But then that becomes the issue because, again, I don't have anybody that's really gonna, you know, teach me how to drive or even sit in the car with me. So by this point, I was a little bit more comfortable with driving. I just wanted to have an extra person with me. And it's so stupid, but I don't know. My brain just operates like that. So I just wanted somebody to sit in the car with me while I just practice, while I just drive around a parking lot or drive around the block or something. I just needed like a buffer. I don't know. Like, I just needed a witness for some odd reason. I have no idea why. But that was just my preference. And I kept asking my mom. My mom just kept repeating that she don't know nothing about cars.
What?
And I don't understand why you would need to know anything about cars to sit in the passenger seat. I don't know. But pretty much everybody started dragging their feet and lollygagging when I would ask them for help and when I would ask them to do stuff. I ended up having like one of my cousins take me driving a few times, but he's always busy. And I'm not his child, so I'm not even his responsibility. So I'm not mad at him at all. But, you know, like, I just never really had nobody that was really going to consistently take me out driving to the point where I got comfortable. You get what I'm saying? So I ended up running into that problem. So whenever I did have an off day, I didn't get to practice driving like I wanted to. But again, I wasn't really tripping over it because, again, the last time that I wasn't going nowhere and I wasn't driving and I was waiting on somebody, thank the Lord. Okay, thank the Lord. It could very much be a situation like that again. You feel me? Like, I ain't rushing nothing, okay? I learned my lesson. I'm not rushing anything after that, okay? But not only that, I knew that my car, or at least at the time, I knew that my car was taken care of, and I knew that my car was, you know, being in use, because there would be times where, like, my sibling's dad, he would like take my car and say like, oh, I'm about to go get an oil change, or oh, I'm about to, like, you know, go rotate your tires, whatever, yada yada yada. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Also, I gave my mom the spare to my car because she would sometimes use my car to go drive my sister to school. I'm okay with that too because it's my mom. Like, all right, cool, go ahead, drop her off at school. Also, I forgot to mention, shortly after I bought my car, my mom bought her car. So the reason why she was buying my car to take my sister to school was because she didn't feel like putting gas in her car at some point in time, and then she just never did it. I don't know why, but basically my car was in use. I was under the impression that my car was taken care of, my car was good, my car was in use, everything was perfectly fine. So then there comes a point in time where I'm still working at Sunglass Hut at this point. And my mom at some point comes in on one of my off days. I'm chilling, I'm dead asleep, I wake up, make my morning coffee. She comes to me and tells me that, like, my car won't take off. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. But I'm not really thinking much of it because, again, like, my car is old. Like, my car is from like 2005. So I just chopped it up to, you know, this is just one of the repairs that I'm gonna have to do for a super duper old ass car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just have to, it's just one of the expenses that I already was prepared for. And as she's telling me, like, what's the problem, I'm telling her, like, I think it's the battery. I think I just need to replace the battery. Has the battery been replaced? And I'm asking her because, you know, that's your baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking her, like, did you ask him if he changed the battery before he gave me the car? Did he fix this? Did he fix that? She knows zero information. Zero. But again, I'm still in the back of my head thinking, like, okay, it gotta be the battery, so I don't mind paying for a battery. My mom tells me no, it's not the battery, because every time she turns the car on, the lights come on. There's nothing wrong with the battery because the lights come on. It just won't take off for some reason, and it makes a funny noise. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what do you think it is, since it's not the battery? But again, this is a woman that knows nothing about cars. So she's saying, I'm going to have somebody come out and look at it. I'm going to have your uncle come out here, or your cousin, or somebody. Somebody was supposed to come out here and look at my car. Again, I'm consistently at work. I'm working my ass off. I'm doing everything that I need to do. I'm thinking my car is just in good hands. You know what I'm saying? And again, before we even go any further, life lesson, okay? I don't care how much you trust people. I don't care how much love and dedication you have towards anybody. I don't care who it is, okay? When there is something, especially a big purchase like a car, that is in your possession that belongs to you, you have to be responsible for that. I don't care what nobody else tell you. I don't care how many promises somebody done told you to your face. When something belongs to you, you are the sole person that needs to make sure that everything is okay and everything is running. Because the reality of it is, regardless of how much care and love you give a person or they give you, they're not going to have the same care in the world for your property. They're not going to really have a sense of urgency like how you would have a sense of urgency for your own shit, okay? Let me be the person to tell you, because I made that mistake. That is the mistake that I made throughout this whole entire situation. So before y'all even try to lecture me in the comments and be like, girl, you was supposed to do this, you was supposed to be on this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. I know that now, but I genuinely was under the impression that people were genuinely helping me because I'm the one that was doing majority of the legwork. You get what I'm saying? I genuinely thought like people had my back in the situation. So with that being said, I do just want to take ownership of that, and I do want to identify that, but it's relevant to the story, okay? So I continued to just go to work like I typically was, and I wasn't thinking twice about the whole entire car situation. I continued to renew my tags and everything. Like, I'm still, like, mind you, through this whole entire process, right, I'm paying insurance. I'm paying car insurance. I'm spending about like $200 a month paying my car insurance for a car that I am not physically driving this whole entire time. So there comes a point in time where I'm coming home from work. It happened for a while, but the first week that it happened, that's when I had enough, okay? So due to the infamous virus that happened in 2020, there became a shortage of like bus drivers in the whole entire city of Cincinnati. We now have like completely different routes. We have like new buses that go like all around the world and back. Like, they didn't completely change the whole entire bus system. They changed the way that you pay for the bus, everything. So one day I'm like, it happened twice. It happened on both situations. There would be times where I'm going to work and a bus just wouldn't show up. And there would be times where I'm coming home from work and a bus just wouldn't show up. Now, thankfully, you know, like I said, I was always working. So I had money for Ubers. I had money for, like, you know, getting to and from where I needed to be. But I didn't want to pay an Uber. I felt stupid being in an Uber. And again, I felt dumb as hell being in an Uber because I have a car. So I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. Like, $20 to go to work, $20 to come back home. This ain't ideal for me. This ain't it. So that was when I was like, girl, you just gonna have to suck it up. You gonna have to lock in, and you just gonna have to be riding dirty. You just got to drive without a license, because this ain't it. Like, I'm completely over it. You feel me? And again, it had been like, I worked there for like a year and a half or so. So like, I even know how to get there without taking the highway and everything. Like, you can just take the back roads and be completely unseen. You feel me? Or I could leave like an hour earlier and go to work. Tell me why I end up getting in my car, right? I end up getting in my car just to like sit in it, just to kind of like get a feel of it, you know? And I try to turn my car on. My car won't start. Why my car not starting? So I go to my mom and I'm like, hey, what happened with my car? Like, did y'all ever like figure out what the problem was? Yada, yada, yada. By this point, it was months later. It was literally months later. She never had anybody come out and look at my car. And I'm just like, okay, so my car just been sitting here, not working, not turning on this whole entire time. You've been driving your car now. You've been going to the gas station. You've been doing some of everything, and my car just here. And again, I had been paying insurance. So I'm paying insurance for a car that's not even moving. What's happening? What's going on? Like, I'm just very confused by that whole situation. So then my uncle comes out, right? I'm upstairs, and like, not this upstairs, because I'm like the last level, obviously, but I'm upstairs. I'm in like my mom's room, and I'm like programming this toy for my baby brother. Her and my uncle are downstairs talking. She's giving him the rundown about like the car and whatever. And as they're talking, he's asking like, okay, well, what happened to the car? Like, what's wrong with it? Yada, yada, yada. And my mom sits there and says like,
well, you know, I be trying to tell her to take care of it, but you know how teenagers are.
what? Hold on. So many things to dissect. So first of all, when I bought this car, I very much was like 23, 24 years old. Who's a teenager? Who's a teenager? That's number one. Number two, why would you lie like that? As if I wasn't taking care of my shit. Like, as if I wasn't taking care of my car, because I very much was. I was even buying, like, you know, not accessories, but like, you know, the little stuff that you would need, like the snow scraper and this little like car cover that you can put at the front of your car when it snows, and you can just pull it off and then boom, the snow is off your car or whatever. Like, I had bought so many things for my car. I was programming my radios. I'm in my car and I'm taking care of my car. And again, this ain't me trying to plug myself in, but if you follow me on Instagram, how many times have y'all seen me in my car? How many times have I just been kicking it, chilling, listening to the radio in my car? Literally just taking random photos of myself in my car, just because. Because I was excited. I was happy that I had a car. And I knew, like, yeah, I'm going to drive this one day. And I'm going to be up out of here. And I'm going to move out. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do that. Like, who wasn't taking care of their car? What are you talking about? Like, I'm so lost. I'm so not understanding what's going on right now. But not only that, I'm not even putting the blame on my mom, because again, my car is old. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that she did anything foul, or that she broke it, or that she did this, or that she did that. I'm not insinuating that, and I'm not saying that. But again, you told me that when you tried to turn on the car would not start. And that was back when it was snow on the ground. It is now starting to like get back into summer or something. I forget when exactly this situation happened, but it was like, you know, like it had been a decent amount of time. It didn't start because you drove it one day and seen that it wasn't starting. You were predominantly driving my car for like 3 months, I think. Like, was it 3 months? I don't know, but for a while. So it wasn't the fact that I wasn't taking care of my car. It wasn't the fact that I wasn't maintaining my car. My car literally just stopped working. Why would you tell him that? That's stupid. Like, why would you sit there and say something like that? And that's not true. But then not only that, which is that's a whole separate situation that irritates me. I don't understand why this is my car, my shit, my possession, and the first person you talk to is my mom. And again, this is a woman that doesn't know anything about cars. So what the fuck type of conversation are you even having with her about a car? My car to begin with. That doesn't make any sense. So at that point, I'm frustrated because I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? But I didn't feel like arguing. I didn't feel like making it a big scene, making it a big deal. But I'm just like, man, get this nigga to fix my car and get him the fuck up out of here because I'm not in the mood. So then we go and we're trying to like fix my car, you know, figure it out, whatever. And he like literally looks at my whole entire car. Turns out that I did need a replacement battery, which I could have been bought, okay, which I been said was the issue. He lets me know that I need a new battery, but then he also discloses that I need an oil change. I need an oil change. Wait, no, that can't be right because old dude was supposed to go and get my oil change. Like, what are you talking about? But then he starts listing off all these other things that are, you know, wrong with the car. Like, oh, this fluid hasn't been fixed, and this hasn't been this, and this hasn't been that, and da, da, da. And I'm like, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. So what you're telling me is that this whole entire time that I've been allowing these people to use my car, and they were saying, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it was not being taken care of this whole entire time. So essentially what has been happening is that my car has either been misused by my sibling's father, and my car has been sitting here for months with no motion, no nothing. This whole entire time. And I'm just now finding out. And the rhetoric that is being used is that I just wasn't taking care of my shit. Again, do I need to give the proof that that's false, or like I don't know, but I'm just really flabbergasted at this point. So now there's more money that I have to spend that I did not plan on spending so that my car can run. I initially thought all I need to do was buy an AC unit and I was good. It's so many things wrong with this car. Okay, so many. Also, let me also say, ever since I got possession of this car, I have also been getting mail. And I don't feel like going to get it, but I have the receipts. I have been getting mail. Okay? And this mail has signified that there is a recall on the airbags to my car. And again, I asked my mom, like, hey, did your baby daddy ever change the airbags? And her response is,
Knowing him, nah, he probably didn't.
also keep in mind, this is the man that told me just get out there and drive. Just get out there and start driving. And no airbag. So if I did crash, I'd just fucking die. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now let's get into the reason why we're essentially making this video today, okay? So we are now roughly in present day. Kind of present day, kind of like the year before this day, but whatever. So I'm pretty much having like the same similar problems, the same similar issues. As a lot of y'all know, I have since quit my job at Sunglass Hut, and I haven't really like had other employment besides the disasters that I've told y'all about. So I have been struggling with employment as well. I still have my graphic design business, but I'm not gonna lie, it ain't all that it's cracked up to be either. So, you know, money's been tight for me. Money has been tight for me as of recently. So, you know, car still needs a few situations, a few little fixes or whatever. Still don't have my license. Still can't really find anybody that's gonna consistently take me driving. I did look into driving school, but it's not necessarily driving school. It's more of like a driving tutor. Like it's a person that will, like, you know, help you, but it's not the school itself where you like learn the laws of the road and all that other stuff. Like, it's not that. I looked into that as well, but again, things cost money, and it's money that I just don't have right now. I think I have enough money to where I could afford like one class, but girl, I need more than one class, okay? Because at this point, I will say, like, I know how to drive, but it's just a matter of like my own self-confidence and getting out of my head. Like, I really just feel like there's certain things that I need to work on before I actually like get on the road. But do I have enough knowledge to where I could pass my license test? Yeah. To be honest. And I know a lot of people would be like, girl, just go get that license and call it a day. But for me personally, it literally is just me being in my own head. It's just me being me. Okay. I feel like I still need to work on a few things before I just go out and just start being on the road. Because once I take my test, I'm out. Okay. Like, I'm on the road. And I want to make sure that that's, you know, my reality, especially after all the stuff that I just told y'all. So, you know, I don't want that. But yeah, that was basically the plan. That was basically what all was going on. But then there came that moment where my depression started trying to come back into my life. And as I slowly became depressed and I just started like feeling really iffy about myself, you know, I can be real and say at that moment, no, I was not taking care of my responsibilities. I was not taking care of my car. What I was doing though was focusing on my content. So I at least was getting content out, but like I really wasn't really taking care of a lot of things behind the scenes. I was trying to, and I was trying to juggle a lot of things at one time on top of that. Like, it was just a lot going on. Like, honest to God, it was just a whole lot going on. And then the depression itself, it set in. It just completely came, okay? Unannounced, unapologetically, it just decided to just show up, all right? And that was over the span of a few months. But again, I was fighting it until I just couldn't no more. And, you know, ugly things started to happen, all right? So I'm not going to lie to you. I have been struggling. I was not taking care of myself. I was not taking care of my business. And one of those things that I was not taking care of was my car, okay? So I'm going to be real about that, and I'm going to stand on that shit. So when I finally got out of my slump and I started, like, you know, going to my car again, I started to notice that, like, okay, my car won't turn on. Like, it's completely dead. I'm not even hearing no funny noises. I'm not seeing no lights flashing, nothing. My car is just completely kaput, okay? Like, it's just, okay? From the looks of it, I need new tires. You know, like, it's a lot of things that I had to come back to. But see, I was okay with that. I was okay with that because at least this time I know it was me. You get what I'm saying? Like, this time around, it was me. I know the repairs that I need to do, so I'm okay with that. But it is kind of a little disheartening because I don't have the money to really fix majority of the things that I need fixed. But either way, I can find a way, and when there's a will, there is a way. So then there comes a day, right? There comes a day where my younger sibling's dad comes in and he tells me,
"Hey, did you see that sticker on your car?"
a sticker? What are you talking about? Now, mind you, he said sticker, so I'm thinking like it's literally like a sticker, like a kid sticker, like Paw Patrol or something like that. So when he tells me, I'm just like, okay, there's a sticker on my car. Like, we live like not super close, but we live close to like a little elementary school or whatever. So like maybe some kids was walking home and did some childish shit and put a sticker on my car. I don't care about that. But he just says like, no, it's a sticker on your car that says if you don't move it, they gonna tow it. Now, mind you, I didn't have an initial reaction because I thought he was bullshitting. Like, I genuinely thought like he was lying. And the reason why I thought he was lying was because like the day before that, he had asked me about if I wanted to sell the car or not. Mind you, I had been telling y'all, he gives off the impression as if he didn't want me to have this car. So even while I had the car, he's asking me 1,000,001 questions for no motherfucking reason. He's asking me literally every single day. Did you start the car? Did you start your car today? Did you start your car today? Did you warm your car up? Did you warm your car up? Did you warm your car up? Like, boy, leave me the fuck alone. And then the fact that you was supposed to give me an oil change and never did. Like, by the time that my oil got changed, y'all, the shit literally looked like gravy. I kid you not. I kid you not. So you worried about what I'm doing. What the fuck did you do? Because you were supposed to take me driving. You were supposed to take my car to the car wash. And you were supposed to give me an oil change. And you didn't do that. But you worried about the wrong shit. Boy, bye. Okay, like I'm not even in the mood. So he's been doing that this whole entire time. And then the day before I found out about the sticker, he's asking me if I want to sell the car to somebody or if I still want to put the repairs on it and all this other shit or whatever. So part of me was thinking like he was bullshitting. So I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. Because again, if they're gonna tow the car, wouldn't they just tow the car? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna go see about it tomorrow. So I go outside and I see about it, right? So I still have it. I still have it specifically because I knew I was going to tell this story, okay? It's ripped up, but this is the sticker. This is the sticker that was on the car. It's this bright orange. Y'all can't really see it because of the light, but it's this bright orange sticker. And y'all can't read it because, again, I tore it up. But this sticker, it says abandoned vehicle, Cincinnati police. And then it has the number, but again, we can't read it. It's not legible because I tore it up. But then when you get to this part, the part that's supposed to be important, the location, the check by, the date, the time. First of all, this person's handwriting, no shade. No shade. I'm looking at this handwriting like, baby, what is this? What is this? Because the location says 3332 Fraser Phosphorus. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I cannot read this shit. I genuinely cannot read this shit. I don't know what the fuck it says. Then where it says checked by, it says Paul Luis. Huh? Not police. Paul Luis. And let me see, just so y'all know that I'm not making this up. Why is there so much space? It says Paul, L-O. That ain't how you spell police. But look at that. Pole, L-O. I'm assuming that that's an I, but it could very much be a U. And then an I, then a C, then an E. Girl, what? So at that point, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I think this is a prank. I think this is a joke. And if I'm being for real, the way that it looks, like even like the way that it's set up, I don't know what I was expecting, but I expect for like something coming from the police to be a little bit more official. This definitely looked like it was done on like Google Docs or something. It definitely looks like they just randomly found a template on like Microsoft or something and boom, we just gonna make it into stickers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how it looked to me. So when I first initially seen it, I tore it off because I'm like, this gotta be a joke. This gotta be comedy. But then not only that, around that time, mind you, I was late getting my tag. So again, this says 4/15/24. So this is April 15th, 2024. Okay, I was late getting my tags, but I knew that I was going to get my tags the following day. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just about to, go get my tags the next day anyways. So no harm, no foul. So I do exactly that. I go and get my tags. I put my little sticker on my license plate on my car or whatever. And I go in the house and I end up, calling the police. Like, I start talking to the police station because I want to know, like, is this legitimate or is it a joke? But let me also tell y'all this though. So when I'm coming home and I go to put my sticker on my car, I have this thing where, like, if you're not talking directly to me and I'm aware that you're talking directly to me, I don't really pay attention. Like, I don't really be knowing what's going on around me. It's not that I'm not aware of my surroundings, but, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But basically, as I'm coming home, one of my neighbors that lives, like, right across the way from me, she has company over. And they're all pretty much sitting on the porch. She's never given me any problems personally, but I think, like, her and my mom had an exchange of words a few times or whatever. But me and her, we've never had no issues. I've never had no problems from her. I've never had no problems from her kids. I'm pretty much just like, I'm over in my lane, she over in her lane. It just is what it is. So I'm not thinking anything of it when I end up going to my car and I start hearing, like, loud talking. You know what I'm saying? So now, looking at it after the fact, I think they were trying to get my attention, or maybe they were laughing at me. I'm still not 100% sure because again, I wasn't thinking that way initially, so I don't even know. But I remember when I was going to put my sticker on my car, it was just like a lot of noise. Like, the noise had elevated from what it was initially. But I didn't think twice about it. And I go in the house and I just start talking to the police station just to make sure, like, was this really y'all or was it a prank? Like, what's going on? So as I'm on the phone with the police station and we're, like, having the conversation or whatever, from the looks of it, the whole entire police station is confused. They're just like,
Oh, it was marked abandoned, but it's still there? Okay.
But then I start talking to them even more, right? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, how does somebody's car get marked abandoned? Like, how does that happen? Because I don't see any, like, marks. I don't see anything. So what is it? And your girl ain't dumb, okay? I always do my research. So what I learned is that in the state of Ohio, if something is marked as abandoned, usually it's marked as abandoned not only because, like, oh, it hasn't moved, but it's also because, like, it's clearly, like, damaged, busted up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just looked like, girl, can't nobody use this car, ain't nobody using this car. And if it's on public property, then essentially, like, you could tow it. You get what I'm saying? So, like, if I was, like, at somebody's business, or, like, if I was in the Kroger parking lot and my car was just sitting there for, like, months and months and months at a time and nobody was moving it, it never changed spots, and you just start seeing it deteriorate over time, that would be grounds to, like, mark a vehicle as abandoned and get it towed, because it's like, girl, ain't nobody using this car. You get what I'm saying? So my question was just like, how can my car be marked as abandoned? And I've literally have had use of my car. Like, again, there was a point in time where my car was just sitting in one spot because, the battery wasn't working, whatever, whoop-de-woo. During that time, I feel like that was a significant amount of time that my car was just sitting in one spot and it never got marked as abandoned. So I'm confused about that. After that, it's had a little bit of motion here and there. It's moved from spot to spot or whatever. But, I ain't never really go nowhere because, again, I haven't gotten my license. I haven't really been driving like that. But not only that, let's talk about the fact that the amount of time that my car was sitting, I will say that my car was sitting for probably about 5 months, which is still very long. It's very long. Do not get me wrong. But my car was sitting for 5 months, and my car is very much in front of my house that I live in. Okay? My mom's car is parked here. My sibling's father, when he comes to visit, his car is parked, right? And he has about, like, probably two different cars that he uses, right? So his car is here, my mom's car is here, my car is here, it is a clear indication that this car belongs to the people that live in this house. Moral of the story, what I'm trying to say is that it has been very clear to the people of this neighborhood, all of my neighbors, whatever, that that car is my car. It is in my possession. Sometimes, you know, you might see my mom there, you might see my uncle working on my car, whatever, but nonetheless, it's a very clear indication that this car is not abandoned. So what I'm thinking is that, like, okay, did y'all try to mark it as abandoned because I was late getting my tags? Because again, I've had this car since 2020. I've never had this problem. I have never had my car marked as abandoned. I've never had none of these issues, none whatsoever. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I was late because, again, I did not take care of my responsibilities. I'm not going to lie. I did not take care of my responsibilities because the bitch was depressed, all right? I said that. So my tags were a month late. So what I'm thinking is, did you bitches really wait until my tags were late to try to justify getting my car off the block? Because if you did that, you're weird as fuck, and I don't like that. I genuinely do not like that at all, okay? But back to the conversation with the cop or whatever. When I'm having the conversation with the people at the police station, they're letting me know that, like, yeah, basically someone had to have called it in, because if it wasn't you and you're not parked like at a big establishment, then it had to have been somebody calling it in, because even though technically my car is on public property, let's be real, the public road is public property, but even though your car is on public property, if it's in front of your house and it's not like at a facility, it's not in front of anybody else's house, then that would insinuate that somebody had to have called that in, like they had to have reported that. When she said that, I automatically had my suspects. Number one was, you know, girl across the way, because again, I didn't think about it until after I had that conversation with the police or whatever. I was not fully aware that it was a possibility that they were probably laughing at me or trying to get my attention, talking about some you know, like it never registered to me until after I had talked to the police. She is suspect number one. Suspect number two is my other neighbor. We're going to call her Miss Petty. That's all we gonna call her. We gonna call her Miss Petty. Miss Petty has been weird to us since we moved into this house. We moved into this house my junior year of high school. She been weird, okay? She, like, from what I understand, mind you, like, I ain't even about to tell y'all all that, but she act like she's the head of HOA. I don't even think we have a HOA. I don't even think we have one. Like, she just acts as if like she gotta be in everybody else's business, literally be in everybody else's yard. She ended up falling out with my mom like a long time ago because she's worried about like how the grass is being cut, and there was a point in time where she even sent somebody over here to come cut our grass, and they end up cutting my mama flowers. My mama ended up going clean the fuck off, justified, okay? But that lady been weird. She been doing petty stuff, and I'm not even about to get into her like that because she old, but like she do too much. She do entirely too much, and her daughter seemed like she trapped over there. I don't know what's going on, but they weird, okay? She's suspect number two just because she been giving us problems and she been an issue. Suspect number three is the lady that lives behind us. Now the reason why, that lady just been weird. Been weird, okay? And she has a whole ass driveway, but for some reason we've been having like a fake parking wars with her since she moved in. Mind you, we've been here longer than her. It's something weird with that lady. I swear to God it is. I don't know what her problem is, but she been weird, okay? So with her, I don't know if her daughter lives with her or if her daughter just be dropping her kid off over there a lot, or what the case may be. But there was a point in time where, like, I think my sibling's dad had like parked in front of her house because somebody was parked behind like us or something like that, and he ended up parking like kind of in front of her house. But mind you, she got a whole ass driveway. He was not blocking the driveway, nothing. Not only did she have an issue with him parking there for whatever reason, as if it's not a public street, but she also addressed my little sister and not the grown man in question. That was already an issue, because like, what are you doing right now? You get what I'm saying? Like what's actually happening? Like, what's your motive, sweetie? And again, let me reiterate, when nobody is talking directly to me, it tends to go over my head. I don't register that people are like throwing shade at me or talking directly to me or whatever. It just goes over my head completely. But another situation that had happened with old girl in the back of me, her daughter had either came to visit. Again, I don't know what their situation is, but either her daughter had came to visit or something like that. And I'm on the phone with like one of my friends, and I'm taking the trash out. because I had did like some deep cleaning or whatever. So I had emptied out like clothes, all types of stuff. I'm on the phone plus taking the trash out, and I just remember catching like the tail end of what old girl was saying, and she had said something like,
I don't care, they need to move. I don't care, they need to move.
that's all I heard. But again, I'm not thinking twice about it. I'm not really connecting the dots. I just threw my trash away, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Later on, I end up having a conversation with my mom about something. I don't know what happened, but we have a conversation. Something happens, and basically she reveals that it was a issue with the situation with parking or something like that. And I'm like, huh? Like what? So then that's when it clicked in my head, like, oh, when she said they need to move, she's referring to my car. So that makes sense as to why like she like parked in front of my car or whatever, because yeah, that's essentially what it was. Like she had an issue with my car like being there. But again, it's a public street, and I don't even think, if I remember correctly, the car wasn't even in front of her house. It wasn't in front of her mama's house. It quite literally was like right, I don't want to show y'all because I feel like that's a dangerous situation. But it's like, I guess like the nose of my car was in front of her like where her property starts or whatever, and then like the rest of my car was like where our property starts. So I guess she had an issue with that, or maybe like the fact that I was parked there, so she didn't get to park evenly or something. I don't know. Like again, the whole shit is just petty. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3, there came a point in time where, again, this was back when my car battery was completely dead and it wouldn't start, and you know, like we were trying to like get the battery or whatever. I remember they had said that they were working on the road and we had to move our cars. Again, I'm just not going to listen to my mom anymore. I've learned that lesson. So there comes a point in time where they do that, and she tells me that I probably don't have to move my car because the little stick that indicates like, hey, you got to move your car on such and such day, it wasn't like directly in front. It was like too far in front of my vehicle to where she thought that it didn't apply to like where my car was parked in like the rest of the street. She thought it was just like from that moment back or something like that. So I didn't worry about moving it. And again, I couldn't move it because the battery was dead. So it just is what it is. So then there came a point in time where it's the day that they're supposed to be working on the street or whatever. Everybody moved their cars. Mine is the only one that didn't move apparently. And my mom is coming back from like taking my sister to school or whatever. And as she's coming back, the lady in back and Miss Petty are outside, and they're talking to like one of the construction workers who's a woman, and they're basically talking yada yada yada, chit chat, whatever. My mom parks, she gets out, and she's like, is there a problem? And she starts to have a conversation with the lady about my car, basically saying like, oh, your car hasn't moved, whatever, blah 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 blah. So she's like, oh, okay, cool. So then she asks for my keys, and she basically is telling me like,
These women about to get fucked up in a minute.
and I'm sitting there like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And she's basically telling me that like she basically pulled up on them while they was talking shit, like while they was talking shit about my car. So I'm over here kind of thinking, again, this is me just probably being delusional, but I'm over here thinking like they can't be talking about my car. I don't think it was that deep. It probably was a situation where she was trying to figure out whose car it belonged to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it was that type of situation going on. But lo and behold, my mom goes outside. She's trying to pop like my hood or whatever, because the lady had a portable battery and was like, hey, we can jump your car so that you can at least move it for the time being. So we're like, okay, cool. My mom is struggling to pop my hood or whatever, so I had to go out there and pop my hood. And as I'm out there trying to pop my hood or whatever, why am I being interrogated? I'm talking about this lady asking too many questions. Like, I'm over here like, girl, what? So she's asking me like how long the car been sitting, and then for some reason she starts walking around my car, looking at my car. Like, and mind you, I'm already not a morning person. I didn't have no coffee in my body. I'm over here like it's too much going on right now, so I already low-key got an attitude, and you asking me all these questions, I'm slowly getting irritated. But now you examining my car, like, what are you doing right now? So then she ends up going to the back of my car, right? While she in the back of my car, she come up and say,
Oh, and your plate's expired.
I looked that bitch dead in her fucking face and I said, how? Because mind you, I literally, because like I said, I've never been late on my tags except for most recently. So the whole entire time that I've had this car, my tags have always been up to date. Always. So I looked dead in her face and I said, how? How? Just explain to me how. She goes back and looks at it and it's like,
Oh, okay, you cool.
yeah, bitch, I know I'm cool. Like, you supposed to be giving me this portable battery, bitch. You're supposed to be jumping my car. You're not supposed to be worried about nothing else. So that tells me that you have been sitting up talking with them two little hoes, the bitch that live in the back, and Miss Petty. And these bitches been sitting up here talking about my car. Now, again, my car old. It's old, okay? The bitch look old, if we being honest. But at the end of the day, bitch, at the end of the motherfucking day, this is my shit. Everybody don't have money for an updated car. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to be funny and make it seem as if I just got this big ass clunker that's been sitting here since the 1960s. That's basically what you're trying to do. Trick no motherfucking good, bitch, because when it comes to my shit, I'ma always have an issue. Always. Don't play with the stuff that I paid for, okay? So that's why I heavily believe, like, that could have potentially been the situation. Like, it could have been the bitch in the back of me. Also, forgot to tell y'all this as well, okay? So there was this one period of time, again, I'm not sure if the daughter lives there or if she just, like, come overs a lot and, like, drops her kid off or whatever. I don't know, and I don't really care. But basically, there was a point in time where the daughter actually was, like, dating this guy. He looked like he was, like, way older, but again, we don't really care. So she's dating this guy, and I just remember that this man would pull up with a different car, like, almost every single day, and it would just park in front of her house. And we're just like, okay, whatever, because again, we don't care. We mind our business. But then there was a point in time where it was two of them cars parked right there, and we're like, okay. But again, minding our business. Like I said before, my sibling's dad, he has about 2 cars, and one time he parked both of them over here because he was like taking something out the trunk or something like that, whatever. So yeah, like, we're not really checking for that. But there came a point in time where I'm in my car vibing, listening to the radio, and it starts raining. So I decided I was gonna sit in the car. Mind you, my car is basically parked right where our back door is. But I decided that I wasn't going to move because it started raining. Why would I get wet if I don't have to get wet? But it wasn't like, you know, a major deal or whatever. So as it's raining, this car pulls up. It's an Astro van. I call it a Pimp Daddy van, but it's an Astro van, right? It pulls up, and it pulls up to the side a little bit as if it's like letting a car pass. The car goes past, but mind you, this van is still there. So I'm sitting here like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? Very confused as to why this car is just basically parked in the middle of the street. It's not making sense to me. So the longer we wait, the person finally gets out. It's the dude that the daughter is dating. He parks right beside the car that's already parked in front of our house, parks the Pimp Daddy van right next to the car, and gets out and starts like taking stuff out of the car that's parked in front of the house and putting it into the van. And as he's doing it, he's like kind of staring in my direction. And he clearly has an attitude on his face. And I'm sitting there like, why is he upset? Like, why are you mad right now? I'm so confused. So it finally dawned on me that, like, oh, wait. He thought that I was going to take off. He thought that I was going to drive somewhere. And he was basically going to park where I'm parked at. But mind you, like, there was no indication that I was taking off. I literally was just sitting in my car. I quite literally was just sitting in my car. And then even then, it's like, if this is all you was doing was taking stuff out of your car and putting it into the next car, again, this lady has a whole driveway. What is going on? And like, I so badly want to show y'all her house just so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But literally, sis got a whole driveway and technically a 2-car garage. But I guess she mainly uses it for storage. I don't know. That's not my business. But yeah, like, I don't understand why my car being parked here is just such a big deal. And it's not even just my car. Mind you, I'm only talking about my car. But like, it just seemed like our whole entire parking situation is always a problem with these people. And it just don't make sense to me. But yeah, I forgot all about that situation because that was relevant too. I thought that was really weird. So yeah, it's a few suspects, but nonetheless, right, that was just what was assumed. Somebody had to have reported it, somebody had to have called it in, and that's essentially what happened. So then, it's the following day. Literally, it is the following day. My uncle, one of my other uncles, I got a lot of uncles, but one of my other uncles, He comes out to our house and he cuts our grass. Mind you, my uncle got like a lawn care landscaping business or whatever. Sometimes he comes over and he uses our like lot as like an example, like inspiration, whatever, like, you know. So sometimes he'll come over here and he'll do that. And also like him and my mom, like they be having their own little business dealings or whatever. So when he comes over, the police pulls up while he's outside doing his work, but also talking to my mom or whatever. And when the police pulls up, my mom has a conversation with the police. My sister come and get me saying, "Mama wants you." So I'm just like, okay, what's the problem? I come downstairs. I don't see her nowhere, but I hear her. She's going clean the fuck off on damn near the whole entire fucking neighborhood, acting a plumb goddamn fool because she sat here and talked to the police. And the police had basically had a conversation with her and let her know that it is confirmed somebody called in my car as being abandoned, and I essentially like they've been watching my car simply because how many times it's been called in. Now, I'm not gonna make it seem like my mom ain't justified in how angry she was, but in the same breath, it's like, I'm petty, okay? You causing a scene. I don't want these bitches to know that I know anything. I want to do my own petty shit. Okay, I wanna make these hoes' lives a living hell. All right, I ain't got time for that. So she's over here mad as fuck. Like she's going clean the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like she's irritated. She's pissed off. I'm zoned out. I can't even perp. I'm zoned out my damn self. But you know, I'm not really like all that amped because again, like you hoes don't matter to me. Okay, and I still don't know exactly who it was that did what, so I'm not just gonna yell at everybody in the vicinity. Like that's not my cup of tea. But my mom is like going clean the fuck off and she's pissed and she's just, you know, yada yada yada. So anyways, that's out the way. It is what it is. But you know, I'm not gonna lie, like that was definitely an inconvenience for me, especially because that was like when I freshly finally was out of my depression, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get my shit together. I gotta do this. I gotta go here. I gotta go there. Like I finally got the will to live again. This the first little bump in the road on the way. Like okay, okay, cool. Like yay, fun. But yeah, originally I was heated. I was pissed. You could see it in the video. You could see me like literally just going off, yelling, doing too much. And I just didn't like how I looked after the fact. I'm like, yeah, no, don't even give people that energy. But yeah, long story short, I'm kind of tired of having a car. It's too much drama. It's just too much drama. I didn't think that it would be this much drama just having a car. You know, like I didn't know that it was going to be this stressful of a process. I didn't think that it would take me this long to get my license. Like I really did not expect for half of this stuff to go on. But to be honest, surprisingly, I am keeping a very positive mindset. And you're probably wondering, why am I keeping such a positive mindset? The reason being is because I have been thinking about buying a new car. So even when my sibling's dad had asked about if I was willing to sell it, I actually was thinking about selling it and getting a new car. I was. And it's only because like now that I am adjusted to like kind of driving and being behind the wheel, I think the biggest part of my confidence with driving has to do with the fact that my car is entirely too low to the ground. It is entirely too low to the ground. I hate it. Oh my God, I hate it. I cannot stand, I cannot stand being that low to the ground. I feel like that's really where a lot of the confidence issues arise. I feel like I can get squished, and I don't like the fact that like to a degree, I have to like lean forward in order to see like the traffic light because I'm so low that like the little ombre thing that's on the window, it like kind of sort of blocks my vision of the traffic light, and I don't like that. So I think that like I need a car that's higher up. So I'm thinking about like getting a new car just because of that, and then maybe that'll help me with a lot of my confidence issues and just like getting behind the wheel and stuff like that. So I have been thinking about getting a new car. And one thing that I truly believe, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in the universe or any other higher power, I feel like you always have your own unique relationship with whatever that higher power is. And listen, babe, my higher power is petty, because I'm petty. and we got to communicate that way, okay? So what I think it is that I think that me even purchasing the car was really just a sign that I was on the right track and I was on my way up. I think that was just like, you know, the signification that like, girl, I got you. You feel me? Because during that time I was kind of in like a slump. I wasn't happy. I was very upset with how everything was going on. That's when the virus happened. You know, I was supposed to go back to school that year. That didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot that was going on, and I was just really doubting myself. And then I end up purchasing a car. I end up getting a very decent paying job. I wouldn't say high. I wouldn't say high, but I definitely got a decent paying job. I was able to go on a trip. I was able to like really splurge on myself, you know, like I finally was in a position where I felt somewhat normal. And shortly after that, you know, I started growing on YouTube again, you know, like it was a lot of positives that were going on. It was a lot of positives. It was a lot of things looking up. So, you know, I think that was really all that car was really supposed to signify, was that, girl, I got you. You can do it. But for all I know, now it might be time for me to move on, especially because it's giving me so many more issues than what I signed up for. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't know with what money. I don't know. But obviously, it's not my job to know, because the Lord works in mysterious ways. So for now, I might be solo cooling with my little hoopty right now. But y'all might see me in a BMW pretty soon. You might, I don't know. I don't know what's in store for me at this point. I genuinely don't. But, you know, I'm just keeping hope alive. And I think that this might be the year. I think, honest to God, I feel it in my bones. I think this might be the year that I finally get my license and everything falls into place. Especially with me working on moving out as well. Again, what money? But, you know, like that, again, like, I'm letting it all work itself out. It's all coming into fruition. So yeah, I'm just pretty much in a new season right now where I just feel like this is the shift. This is the moment where everything's gonna fall into place, fall into fruition. Like it's a feeling, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not really like all that upset. I'm not really like stressed out, tripping or whatever. It's just a matter of what move am I gonna make next, and that's pretty much it. But for the most part, I'm not really like mad, anxious, or none of that. I'm pretty much just ready to go. Like, I'm ready. Whatever happens, happens. And like I said, it could very much be everything happens for a reason, because the first year was something, okay? Like, that first little year was crazy. Clearly, something was blocking me from getting on that road, so I'm not really questioning nothing no more. But can I be real and say that that was part of my depressive episode? Yeah. Yeah, because I just felt like, girl, you're a failure. You're a flunky. Like, you've had this car for how long? Yeah, you're the issue. But, you know, let go and let God. I'm still learning, but we're here now. You feel me? So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for y'all this week, is a quick little story time. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So if you did enjoy this video, please do not forget to like this video. Comment down below any thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And of course, share if you can. So with that being said, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Back up on my bullshit, back up on the